You know the story, I'm reminded of the story of the Grimm's fairy tales and the princess and the frog. And the oldest daughter went out to fetch a pail of water in the well, and the water was known all throughout the kingdom for being the purest and the sweetest water in the realm. And she went to fetch a pail of water, and the water was murky, and she had never seen murky water. She looked a little bit closer, and there was a frog in the water. Come on, somebody, you know about the fairy tales. And the frog emerged from the murkiness. She began to converse with the frog. Now, don't act like you can't relate to this now. And the frog said, well, oh, princess, if you want the water to be restored to its clean state, just kiss me on the lips. We can be friends and lovers, and I will restore the water. And the oldest daughter, the oldest princess said, I cannot do such a thing, because you are but a frog. Come on, somebody, she had good sense. She said, I can't kiss you because you are but a frog. And she went back home and went to sleep. Okay, this is a bad dream. Okay. Listen, some things you just need to go home and go to sleep. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Some stuff you thought about doing. Come on, somebody. I'm trying to bless somebody. Some stuff you thought about doing, you just need to go home and go to sleep. Look, that was a bad dream. I don't know where that came from. Come on, somebody. Am I talking good so far? And then the middle daughter went out because she got thirsty. She went to the well, the same well, lowered the same pitcher, achieved the same results. The water was murky. She had never seen murky water before. See, how do you respond when you encounter things that you've never encountered before? It's very important. And I can tell you, it's based on your values. That's why we try to cultivate relationship, because out of the relationship with each other, your values are established. So when you're confronted with a circumstance that you've never seen before, you don't have to even process it. You instinctively respond. So the middle daughter instinctively responded because she had a value system that was indoctrinated in her. She knew that she was a princess, and she knew she had to get with a prince.
That's right.
So when the frog looked up at her out of the murkiness and said, if you just but kiss me, I shall restore the water to its original state. She said, oh no, I cannot kiss thee. You are but a frog. She went back home and went to sleep. And then the youngest, is always the neophyte, the one with the minimalist experience. The one who's been overhearing stuff and they don't really know if it's true, and they got to test the water, and see, y'all don't understand, and I've been listening to y'all too long, I've been listening to y'all, y'all talking all this stuff. Let me go out here. She waited until everyone was asleep. She went down to the well. Brother Mac, she went down to the well, lowered the pitcher. You know how some of us, you done had all kind of warnings and warning. You got to go see for yourself. She went down there and spied out for herself. She lowered the pitcher. And she got the same result. The frog looked up at her out of the murkiness and she was thirsty. She didn't necessarily have the discipline and fortitude that the two older sisters had. Plus, she was a little capricious and she wanted to test the waters and of course she had the least amount of doctrine. She had the least amount of teaching, and she was naive because she hadn't sat up under their teaching as long as the other two older ones had. So when the frog looked back at her and said, well, if you just kiss me, I will restore the water to its previous state. You'll be able to quench your thirst. She thought about it. She said, oh, what? I'm not going to say this. I'm going to say what. She said, look, I'm thirsty right now. I don't know how much longer I can hold out. So let me go ahead and kiss this girl. Come on, somebody. And she kissed him. She kissed the frog. And the frog met his ended part. Because that's the way it always starts out. Come on, somebody. They start out doing what they say they're going to do. Come on, somebody. give me this, I'll give you that. Come on, somebody. Quid pro quo. That's all the deep. That's Latin. That means you give me what you got, I'll give you what you got. And when she realized what she had done, she came to her senses and she was startled and she was shocked at herself. Have you ever done something that when you started out, you knew it didn't mean it, but then when you did this, oh my God, how could I even do such a thing? So she started running back to the palace. And the frog was trying to catch up to her. Wait a minute, we got a thing going on now. You ever had something chasing you? I'm doing some preaching up in here. You ever had something chasing you that you done kissed? Come on, somebody. I'm doing some preaching up in this morning today. And you running, and it's just creepy because frogs can't move that fast. But they moving steadily. Come on. You ever had something coming after you that's a steady pace? I'm doing some preaching up in here. And the frog would just go, we're supposed to get together. And she went to a room in the palace and slammed the door. I thought she would never see the frog again. But they did not. Something was scratching at the window. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. You ever had something scratching and clawing and knocking on the door? Come on, somebody. And you thought you had got away. You thought it was a bad dream. You thought that they understood that you really didn't mean it like that. But once you kiss the frog, they don't understand that. That's why you shouldn't kiss the frog. Okay? And the frog was scratching it. We're supposed to get the bill. And ultimately, the frog did turn into a prince. The frog did turn into a prince. But that's not the prince that she was being groomed for. And sometimes you will have that level of relationship and people will say, people may even conform to the things that you want them to conform to. But that's not who they really are. Because it was still a frog. He had always been a frog. And that's why you have to understand that you don't have the capacity to relate people. Understand that? People are who they are. You have to be selective in who you embrace into your life. You have to be selective about your relationship. You have to be selective about where you go to church. You have to be selective about who you surround yourself with. And in our text, it says in verse 3, the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which will go up and come into the house and into the bedchamber, upon thy bed, upon the house. So in other words, we have to be careful because the relationships that we solicit affect every area and every stratus of Pharaoh's kingdom. He said they're going to come into your house. They're going to come into your bedchamber. They're going to affect your cervix. In other words, every class of people is going to be affected. If you don't make this right decision, Pharaoh, if you can't get this together, then you're going to bring a plague upon all the people, and they're going to come into the most intimate areas of your life, as well as all classes of people. They're going to get you in your kneading troughs. In other words, you're going to be trying to put a meal together, and the frog going to show up. Come on, somebody. You ever try to put something together, and here comes somebody, you be like, where the heck did they come from? They always show up when it's time to eat, They always know it's a magic clock. And then, they know that you fixing something. They know you get ready to go out. They know. They come up in your house. They ring the doorbell. Unannounced. You're like, how do they even know I'm home? How did they know this? It's the frogs. And in verse 5 it says, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying to Aaron, stretch forth your hand. Here's another key. If you want to see transformation, if you want to see the movement of God, you got to stretch forth your hand. There's some things that you can pray about. There's some things that you can confess about. But then you got to stretch forth. He said, if they hadn't stretched forth their hand, nothing would happen. You have to be proactive in this process of release and transformation. So they stretched forth their hand, and he had the rod in his hand. Whatever you have left, you've been through. That's what you better use. All he had was a stick. It's called a rod in the Bible, but some of us have been through a lot of stuff and we've lost a lot of stuff. Don't concentrate on what you lost.
Okay.
Concentrate on what you still have.
Right.
And use that.
Amen.
Bless it. Don't worry about what you lost. Don't sit awake at night worrying about, oh, I lost that money, I lost this furniture. I used to do the house, and I always tell people, get another house. Get your life right. Get your spirit right. Let that thing go. Let that person go. Let that stuff go. They made houses and land and furniture and cars and clothes more than we'll ever be able to have. If you wore a different outfit every day for the rest of your life, you wouldn't even touch the clothes that's in the department store. If you lived in a different house every day for the rest of your life, you wouldn't even touch all the houses that's out here. Understand that? People freak out over that. Oh, I can't, I would leave, but I put so much into this house. Let that house go. There's going to be another whatever is left. You can be blessed with it.
That's right.
He said, stretch forth. He stretched forth his hand and his rod. But that's all they had. Over the streams and the rivers and the ponds, and he caused the frogs to come up on the land. In other words, there was power. When they used what they had, they transformed it supernaturally, and they were able to call forth the frogs. So look at verse 7. The magicians did so with their enchantments and brought up the frogs from the land. So what does that say to us? There are people who can mimic and imitate the people of God for a season. Understand that? Because some of us have been under the enchanter's spell. You saw some people do some things and you thought that this was a God thing, but it was really an enchantment. It was really a spell. Because Pharaoh's magicians had the capacity to imitate for a period of time the things that God did through his servants, Moses and Aaron. Understand that? But then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Lord that he may take away the frogs. But see, they brought them up, but then the ones they brought up went back into the river.
That's right.
Well, Moses and Aaron stretched forth their hand around the frogs that they brought up and stayed in the land. Understand that? Because some people will do something in your life and you think it's going to be around.
Right. Yeah.
And you think that's the one. Oh, they must be the one. I mean, right this now. But then you turn your back. Things have reverted back to the way it was. And you be like, what in the world was I thinking about? Come on, somebody. But when Moses and Aaron stretched forth their hand and the frogs came up and they stayed, Pharaoh couldn't have it. He reached his breaking point. And he says, tell me, what must I do? Entreat me that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go. Here it is in verse 8 again, that they may do sacrifice unto the Lord. So why are the people being released? Why is Pharaoh on the verge of letting them go? That they may do sacrifice unto the Lord. Now, sacrifice doesn't mean you don't have a life. Sacrifice doesn't mean you don't have fun. Sacrifice doesn't mean you can't take a vacation. Sacrifice doesn't mean you can't get your hair done. Sacrifice doesn't mean you can't get some nice things. It just means that you have a prioritization in your life. It doesn't mean you don't like to laugh, you don't like to have fun, you like to go nice places. It just means that you understand that everything that you have now is predicated upon this relationship. So therefore, you have to let people know, you have to let your family know, you got to let your enemies know, I'm going to sacrifice, I'm going to do worship, I'm going to do my thing, and you can get with it or you can get run over. You can get with this and you can get with that. They lie so. Okay? You can get with this or you can get with that. Okay? But I'm getting with this. This is where it's at. You understand? You got to understand how to talk to people. You got to understand how to talk to people. And closing in verse 9. And Moses said unto Pharaoh, glory over me. Now what that really means is that doesn't mean that Moses was encouraging Pharaoh glory over him. What he was saying was, why are you making this big fuss about me? I'm just an instrument in the hands of God. Because Pharaoh didn't understand it. He didn't understand the spiritual hierarchy of God, that Moses was just a servant. He said, glory over me? When shall I entreat for thee? Now, Pharaoh was such a proud man, he would have never, in his state of traditional pride, asked Moses to do anything for him. When he realized he was in above his head, he humbled himself. You'd be surprised if you keep doing right, God will make folk humble themselves. You ever had somebody humble themselves, somebody that thought that they didn't need nothing, you couldn't do nothing for them, you was so bad all off it. They used to look down upon you all the time. They was always in a lofty position, and now all of a sudden here they come calling. Here they come, can I talk to you? And you know when they say, because they used to say, all right, but now when they say, can I talk to you? It's a whole different voice now. Come on, somebody. I'm doing some good preaching up in here. You know, it's been a while. You know, I know, you know, things ain't always been the way they should have been. Come on, somebody. But I just want to know, can I talk to you? So you know what that's about.
Yeah.
They need something. They need you to help them get what they need. So Pharaoh has humbled himself up to Moses and says, I need you to talk to your God. So Moses responds, well, all right, no problem. When do you want this to be over? When do you want them to go back into the river? And Pharaoh says in verse 10, tomorrow. And then Moses said, it shall be so according to your word.
Should be so.
Tomorrow.
What if you were?
He could have said today,
Right.
but he said tomorrow. He demonstrated that he was willing to endure another 24 hours. Now, not only his inconvenience, his suffering, but the people. I'm saying to all of us, we have the capacity. If he had said today, it would have been today. So I'm saying that to all of us from our heart, from my heart to your heart, beloved, that we need to say, when we give the opportunity to bring forth our release and our liberty, we have to call forth some things today,
Yes.
not tomorrow.
Yes.
Pharaoh said tomorrow. There ought to be some things in your life that you're not willing to endure another day,
Yes.
another hour,
Yes.
another moment. But he was still of such a mindset that he would have subjected the people, because it wasn't just him, it was the people. See, because the things that we endure that challenge us and limit us, not only are limited to us, but everything that's connected to us.
Yes.
Whether it be your family, your extended family, your nieces, nephews, cousins, your biological children, okay? The children that you just care about are all connected to you. That's why you have to have a sense of immediacy. You have to have a sense of urgency to say today. When Jesus was on the cross,